well-timed,
It just
well-executed
doesn't end.
direct actions can offer an
Table, a
escape
chair,
from the
a
endless
bin.
cycle of representational politics, which assumes its highest form in the state.
You see, guys? It's not violence. It's direct action.
Oh
That
my
doesn't mean
God.
it's violence.
My guy, anarchism is not socialism. Anarchism is not communism.
This is the U.S. intelligence agency, mind control.
Usually say to people on the right, you think communism and socialism is the same. They're two different things. The point of socialism is to lead to communism, and they conflate socialism and communism all the time. Well, let me show you.
Hi, everyone. I'm very new to the show, but my wife isn't. You've managed to radicalize her into a full democratic socialist. So congratulations on that. I think I describe myself as a social democrat.
Isn't it so cute and fun how they can just gleefully use the word radicalize like that?
Curb social safety
That's the problem
net,
you're taking?
plus tightly regulated
This is so petty.
capitalism is
Who
best.
cares?
But I'm also now just seeing how
He's using Wojak.
socialism is.
Socialism
What?
He's a Wojak. See, he's a sloth man.
is just such a broad term. So we have like a social democrat, which then can be like a democratic socialist, which then can just be like a socialist.
Is conservative not a broad term?
Lead you to communism if you're.
It is the broadest. It's like saying liberal. That's the whole point of it. They're appealing to the most people that they possibly can.
Okay. This has 2,000 views.
Should have less.
Enough theory and Marx, right?
And I feel more confused than ever. Anyway, my question is this. In a society with no private business capitalism, how do you maintain creative freedom, especially for non-necessities? As an example of all the above, let's say that someone has a great but unorthodox idea for a video game that caters to some specific audience.
The guy's like, oh, but the social democrat and democratic socialist, they're the same thing. No, they're not.
Socialism is when the government does stuff. And it's more socialism the more stuff it does. And if it does a real lot of stuff, it's communism.
No,
Jamie
it's more
Peck.
communism, right, Jamie?
This is James.
What?
He had to bring in a real communist to answer this question.
An open communist that used to be his co-host, but how useful is a communist when they're out in the open?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of different versions of socialism and communism that people have posited.
Yeah, there's different versions of socialism and communism. They're they're all very different, but there's just different versions of them, socialism, communism. So we're equating those two
Wojak's
concepts
very
right now.
fitting.
This should be
That's how I
more
imagine
rigidly
actually
defined, especially if you're going to be hosting a revolution in the streets over it.
I think with something like a video game, which I think most people can agree is not something that's really essential for everybody to survive them, at least for me.
This is such a funny...
It's to liberate people from having to work all the time.
Ideals of a more socialist or communist economy is that...
All right, let's let this guy take a stab at equivocating socialism and communism right now. If it's like socialism or communism, it's probably like this one thing that I'm going to be talking about. This one concept I'm going to be talking about. It's like socialism and communism.
You got it.
What you do for work is decoupled from your ability to sustain yourself just materially. And I think that would allow for a lot more people to follow their passions. I think the actual creative people will be more liberated in that sense. I mean, I'm less interested in getting rid of
You
all
can't
sort
do
of
the
private
joke again.
industry.
It's not funny a second time.
That sort of thing. Like, I think, or maybe you make everything co-ops legally or...
Marx wanted to actually abolish the distinction between work and leisure time and have all human activities just be things that we do in the course of life. Doesn't mean they're all going to be fun, but they're all just a part of life. And that's when we can really say that people are truly free. But I feel like maybe that's a topic for the Antifada to go into further detail on.
Folks can find that at
nothing,
patreon.com/the Antifada.
That's a pretty healthy looking Patreon. Over 1,200 members. Of course, they always hide their income. Oh, look, they have a $100 a month option. I bet you get a lot of really good stuff with that. Pay pigs. It's ironic. Our ultra exclusive Findom tier. You will get nothing and you will like it, worm. Ha 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 ha. Communism.
I mean, is this her Patreon?
This is her show. She has a podcast.
Okay.
She left Sam Seder to do a full commie revolutionary You know,
That's probably
Ancom type. No, she's like a real hardcore like Ancom. So it's like it's better than like a tanky TV.
Okay.
It's not something like I'm not going to listen to it, but like I like
Yeah.
Jamie. You know, I think she's a good person.
I'm sure.
So now let's see what James Lindsay means when he talks about race
no.
Marxism.
We are actually going through in the West, throughout the West. And critical race theory is the racial.
You want Jamie back now?
component
Do you want
of
the
this.
commies back?
Is a
back?
cultural revolution, exactly like what proceeded in China, 1966 to 1976 under Mao Zedong. The only difference is that there's no Mao. There's no one central planner who is, you know, taking over the whole power grab. It's diffuse. It's a cultural phenomenon rather than an individual phenomenon.
Sounds
And
like
it is
anarchism.
empowering a set of
not
ideas.
Sure does.
These ESG things we all hear about, environmental social governance. Guess what the social
That looks
part
like a
is.
turtle.
Bro, that's where Ron DeSantis he stopped saying it, but when we first started watching him, like when he like had like fascies on the campaign, I kept hearing him say ESG, and I'm like, who the fuck talks about this? What is ESG? That's the second person I've ever heard say it. That's
What is
his
it?
staffers were. It's just like a fucking environmental policy type thing. You're like whatever he just said. You can rewind to hear what it means, but it's like it's like CRT, you know, but it's for the environment, right? That's literally what it is.
Right.
So his little fasci staff watched James Lindsay just like they watched Nick Fuentes. That's where they got these acronyms and talking points from.
Interesting.
All these people DeSantis fired because he's like, well, the average voter doesn't like me.
If something was about economics, you would be able to repeat back, like capitalism, for example, and what that economic system is, and describe the free market and properties of it. Are we going to do that? Are we going to delve into kind of no, because you can't just there's no short version of what his economic theory is. You have to go through this laborious, vapid, nebulous, tedious gauntlet of word salad to then arrive at a different conclusion that everybody has at the end.
Without knowing that Marxism is based on Hegelianism, you have to think about that. He's looking at Hegelian dialectics that are always ending in the synthesis, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what is the ultimate end to the dialectic? That's the theory that sets up Marxism. It was a theoretical framework of the endpoint of dialectics. It wasn't something that you
and then
have
people
a
took
guidebook
it seriously, and we got Lenin.
Very rarely do they call you wrong or incorrect. It's usually bad, dumb, Nazi, racist, transphobe.
I bet you are all those things,
He
though.
didn't say it was
I
incorrect.
guarantee he is.
It's a bad take because it's the truth that he doesn't want to deal with. How is it the truth? Let's take Sam's little pet pig as an example.
This is everybody
Jamie Peck
who watches my
Hey,
show
you're back.
knows who Jamie Peck is. Longtime Majority Report alum, has a show called The Antifada, and Everybody Loves Communism.
So I don't know how far they're really going to get. Like, it's admirable that they're
spots.
trying, because what the fuck else can they do as bourgeois politicians? But I'm
checked out.
sorry if I'm a little bit skeptical that that's going to work, because that's not how we got anything in the past. Also, like the idea that we need to persuade the ruling class, that's how we get things. Like, I don't think this upper class wine.
I really
moms
like
are
his
gonna do
camera
direct
setup.
action.
The
Sorry.
free
I
shot,
don't
but
think
then he's
these
got his,
upper
like,
class wine moms
branding
are gonna
above
do
and below
direct
him.
action. Sorry. I don't think these upper class wine moms are going to do direct action. Sorry.
Direct action is a phrase that gets thrown around a lot when describing anarchist tactics, and rightly so, since it's one of the main ways anarchists put our values of
Mike's video still?
Why did
I think this is still Mike's video. Mike is like cutting in his own narration. I haven't seen any of Mike's videos because this is a different voice.
Self-organization and mutual aid into practice. So what is it exactly? Well, a simple definition would be to say that direct action is a political action aimed at achieving a specific goal or objective, in which is carried out directly by an individual or group of people.
See, this is too base to have the other Soyjack guy be.
This broad definition covers a huge range of activities, everything from banner drops to prison breaks, and it doesn't necessarily tell us much about the politics of those carrying out the action itself.
What a Chad
tactics.
Real like
Is the guy doing this not going to recognize that was like standing up to communism right there, right?
Yeah, of course not.
can be used to implement a wide variety of strategies.
Look at the name of this
While you
video,
don't have
though.
to be an anarchist in order to carry out or to participate in a direct action. The concept itself
Oh my
holds a
God.
special importance for anarchists and other anti-authoritarian radicals. And that's because well-timed and well-executed direct actions can offer an escape from the endless
That's an
cycle of
awesome
represent-
video. What the fuck?
Somebody threw a whole table. That's fucking dope.
Look at this shit that they throw at them.
for anarchists and other anti-authoritarian radicals. And that's because well-timed
It
and
just doesn't
well-executed
end.
direct actions can offer
A
an
table,
escape
a chair,
from the
a
endless
bin.
cycle of representational politics, which assumes its highest form in the state.
You see, guys? It's not violence. It's direct action.
Oh
That
my
doesn't mean
God.
it's violence.
My guy, anarchism is not socialism. Anarchism is not communism.
Well, that's the
Anarchism
thing,
is
is
anarchism.
he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand. So Sam Seder is a democratic socialist. Jamie Peck is an anarchist socialist.
Mm.
Well, an ANCOM, technically,
ANCOM,
which is not a real thing. They're socialist.
Yeah, it's lib socks, whatever.
Lipsock, I think Lipsock is just like somebody who's like can't go outside and just read books. So
Violence. It's just direct action. It's a defensive maneuver from the oppression that's happening to them. It's not violence. You saw the images. Lighting buildings on fire, assaulting police officers. That's direct action. So in the communist mind, they're like, it's not.
Was that France, though? The video of them throwing shit? It looked like France.
probably doesn't matter. It's a bunch of different
violent.
stuff.
I'm
The
defending
French cops
myself.
It's
deserved
spooky
it.
for
Light a building on
Wojak,
fire.
man. Though
These traditional methods, like blocking a train that people were doing 100 years ago, could still work.
Right.
Yeah.
and it did. Did you see what Cop City did?
I think military.
Yeah.
The picture's
this is part of-
misleading. The picture's from like an actual derailment. They just like stalled trains.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't like because the picture's like a catastrophic derailment. Like that's no, it wasn't like an act of terrorism. You know?
Yeah.
They just
Although
took-
they'll probably try. Didn't they hit them with
took
veto
that picture
charges?
because that picture was going to make the make the announcement go more viral. That's why they took that picture.
Yeah.
Why law is important is, a lot of the most militant labor tactics are illegal in the U.S. And if they're not illegal in other places. And if you do them, your union president will get arrested. And that kind of tamps down on the militancy. But when you have these new organizations or you have a grassroots led movement, sort of like, the Red State Rebellion, we've talked about this before, Jamie, in West Virginia and Oklahoma, where the teachers kind of did wildcat strikes. It doesn't matter if what they're doing is illegal. You can't arrest them all. And you need teachers to teach. As we're learning with COVID-19, when you don't have an education system, you don't have that childcare, the built-in childcare, the economy grinds to a halt. So yeah, that seems pretty important,
And the way to achieve that future is through revolutionary agitation and ultimately violence.
Awful editing.
Now I want to point out that this is a really bad take.
Yeah, Lindsay, you stupid fat shithead. It's not a violent revolution. It's just endless droves of feral communists that want to protest illegally with direct action, and they use large numbers of people to overwhelm the
Bro, do
system.
you understand what a revolution is? Wow.
This guy's an idiot.
Like, we can call protest revolutionary, right? There are protests that have led to new states, like Euromaidan. They basically overthrew an entire country with stones and violence,
Yeah.
but they were being shot at
Crazy.
by
Yeah,
snipers
crazy.
on rooftops.
Crazy how that works. I guess all that reactionary violence to getting sniped in Serbia was probably not justified either, according to this guy. Let them kill you.
It's not a violent revolution. It's direct action. And if the police catch you, they're not going to put you in jail. They're just going to temporarily set you aside for a moment. And if you went to someone's house and tried this shit, they're not going to murder you. They're just going to put you to sleep for a really long time.
Why would we... Hang on. Why are you going in houses?
What was that tangent? I'm so lost. Has he made a point in the last 10 minutes, or has he just been showing other
he's
people's
just showing
content? No.
What we're learning is that Jamie is cool. Okay.
Combined,
yeah.
especially in this particular country. You know, I mean, there's people out there who are like, oh, well, if you don't talk about anything, if you talk about anything but class, then you're doing Marxism wrong. But that does a disservice to Marx, because Marxism is not just the study of bosses and workers. Yes, that is the central relationship that all society runs on, but it is also the study of social relations. And race is a social relation.
Guess what the social part is? Is critical race theory.
And race is a social relation that is tied to class as well. So,
okay. This is what you would call intersectionalism, not Marxism. Like, this is intersectional politics. This is what this is. It's not Marxism.
It's her.
Like,
what
Marxism,
he doesn't understand is that it's her telling tankies to shut the fuck up.
pretty much. Yeah.
That's what he doesn't understand.
Yeah.
He's hearing some
like,
other radical nonsense instead of like tanky bullshit.
Yeah, and it's like he clearly doesn't understand how the politics work. And before I sort of pulled out of all that sort of side of shit, I learnt about all this. I learnt about intersectional politics. I did these intersectional classes. I took the classes at uni. It's good to know, and now I know. And it's got some points, and it's got Marxism. He has watched a bunch of James Lindsay's videos and is just trying to make something to materialize what he's heard, I think. And he just doesn't grasp it.
If you leave that part
Yeah, I was just saying, let's finish. I want to hear what Jamie has
out,
to say.
you're not going to have a very good analysis of what's going on with American capitalism at all. I think it's also important, and this is a huge part of why I valued it so highly, that this uprising, to the degree that it was led by anyone, it was led by Black proletarians. And I think any kind of attempt at a revolution in this country is going to have to heavily involve the Black proletariat.
It's not race Marxism. They're just solely focused on the proletariat's race.
Okay, hang on.
It's not race Marxism.
Hang on, Sludge Monster. Let me explain. The reason why these things need to be Black-led is because of something that you don't believe in called white privilege. And this is why so many Black voters go to the Democrats, is because white people are just real cringe and want to lead these movements that will like overthrow the government and bring about the like revolution, you know? And it's like, how about childcare?
People like Jamie.
Well, Jamie's more aware than that.
No, I know. I'm just sort of making a point that it's always white women.
Oh yeah. But that's the thing is that like I hope what Australia is doing really starts to spread. I would love
Wait, with what?
The voice in Parliament.
Oh, it's not going to pass.
Oh no, but I hope the movement continues. I hope that stays up and it comes to America. I think that's a very good movement to kind of integrate into America. It would be nice to see.
I mean, New Zealand is the one you want to look at realistically.
Well, New Zealand doesn't project anything.
They just replaced poor people with Black poor people.
They had a
liberal, exactly.
They did the same thing, which is
they are
See, he doesn't understand because he doesn't understand the critical race theory class analysis on why structural racism has created that. So he's just seen it as they're the racist one. They're objectifying Black people.
Not surprising to me, but you know,
not surprising to me at all.
Scratch a liberal and a fascist, please.
Sam Seder had a radical communist, anti-liberal co-host for years. He is not the projector.
Oh no, anti-liberal.
Wait until you learn about Michael Brooks, the actual communist on his show that he used to have.
But like this is my biggest problem with Marxists is it's so shallow. They're looking at one aspect of society. And they're looking at that like it's still the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.